Right, people keep asking me where the air-cooled Triumph T100 is. Have I got rid of it? No, I haven't got rid of it. I still have it. She just doesn't make many appearances on the channel these days due to, the sort of trends that I have to follow in order to ensure that I keep getting the views. So what I thought I would do today is play back some old T100 footage in the background while I talk about import and export after Brexit. Now, I'm still getting complaints about me riding and filming during the lockdowns. I know most of you know how I operate, but just for the benefit of the intellectually challenged viewers, I haven't ridden any of my bikes since December, so that's well over a month ago. I'm following the very same policies that I followed all of last year, in that I am rerunning my extensive collection of old footage from the last 4 years, and in instances where I do make fresh video, I film either in my garage, on my drive, or in my home. I am not going out and endangering the NHS or anybody else. I am, as I've been reminded, well aware that Parliament recently has been criticising people like myself for just carrying on business as usual, and I'm sure that in the fullness of time, if it continues, the police will start knocking on doors, but they won't be knocking on my door because I've been adhering strictly to the rules, and if necessary, I'll remind you of this with every video that I make. Granted, this is probably slowing down the development of the channel, but at least at the end of it, I will be safe in the knowledge that I've not caused any harm to anyone else or endangered anyone else in any way. I've done my bit. Right, so let's get on with it. On the 31st of December 2020 at 11 PM, Great Britain officially left the European Union. And in doing so, we also left the European Customs Union, which means that the status quo effectively returned to what it was sort of 25-30 years ago. I just want to make it clear that this video is not aimed just at British viewers. I do have a smattering of continental viewers as well, although I do have to say that they are, a minority among the sort of greater demographics of the channel. But I would like to think that we are all still friends. I have had to delete quite a few sort of anti-British comments, especially last week during this European vaccine fiasco. This is, as it's always been, a motorcycle lifestyle channel. Let's just draw a line under what's happened and all be friends and just get on with things. As you'll be aware, I review a lot of items on this channel, or I have done over the last 4 years. I've always tried where I can to review British products, but that's not always possible, and as a result, I've imported goods from all over the world. A fair amount of this stuff obviously came from the European Union, so up until now customs duty hasn't been an issue, but I've also imported a lot of stuff from places like America and India. And inevitably, when I make those sort of purchases, I get a customs charge. It's nothing new, it's been going on for hundreds of years, and it's just something you accept when you're buying something from another country. There's an old saying that goes something like, the only two certainties in life are death and taxes. Taxes are what allow our countries to run the way they run. No one, me included, likes paying taxes, but if we didn't pay them, we would all be a lot poorer for it. Roads wouldn't get built or repaired. People who are out of work wouldn't get benefits so that they can live. And our doctors and hospitals wouldn't be able to operate the way they operate. We pay taxes on everything that we do, just about. If we make a telephone call, we pay VAT on it. If we buy a motorcycle, we pay VAT on it. Petrol is a prime example. I noticed the other day that it had gone back up to £1.15 per litre. And we think of that as being the cost price of petrol, but it isn't. The retail price of a litre of petrol at its current price is 37 pence per litre. The government then puts 57.9 pence fuel duty on that litre of petrol, which is more than the retail cost of the petrol. And then on top of that, they charge VAT. So the price comes out at £1.15 for a product that has a retail price of 38 pence. a litre of petrol. Now, I know fuel duty is considered a sort of a stealth tax in that a lot of people don't realise that they're actually paying it. But we are, and we've been paying it for decades. Like all taxes, it is just a fact of life. So, why do people complain when they buy an item from another country that doesn't have any VAT or tax on it when they get a tax bill for it? I've never really been able to get my head round why people think it's so wrong. I can only assume that it's due to the way that we normally buy goods here in the UK or in our European countries. Generally speaking, the price that you see on the price ticket is the price including all your local taxes that you have to pay. So you know exactly how much that item is going to cost you, and you know you're not going to have to pay any more. And so you make your purchase decision based on that price. Now, every country's VAT rate or purchase tax rate tends to vary by 1 or 2%. So quite often here in the UK you would find that if you found an item for your motorcycle in Italy or Spain, you could make quite a saving on the price you would pay here in Great Britain, because their tax rates may or may not be slightly lower, so you make a bit of a saving. And as we were in the customs union, there was no more to pay when it landed on your doorstep. But that's not the case for places like America or India or most other places in the world. Nor is it the case anymore through any purchases that are made between Britain and the EU. Now, in theory, these purchases have now become an international transaction. So technically, if you go on the internet and you see an item that you want to buy in Spain, France, Germany, wherever in the European Union, the price should be exclusive of any local taxes, because they're not selling it in their own country, they're selling it to another country, so the local taxes shouldn't apply, and they should remove those at least at the checkout. And the same applies if you're purchasing something in the EU from a British company. VAT should have been excluded at the checkout, so you're not paying British VAT. You will pay your local tax when it lands in your country. So in theory, the price will be round about the same. The only real difference to the delivery is that because these things now all have to be checked to make sure that the right amount of tax is levied when it lands in the destination country, there is likely to be a few days delay. Now, the big problem that came into play when Brexit actually did happen is that no one knew what was going on, because the deal didn't go through until the 11th hour. So authorities and customs authorities basically were learning on the job. So there were huge delays, and I dare say 1 or 2 instances of people being incorrectly charged. That element of importation hopefully will go away with time as things settle down. But the big bugbear with these sort of purchases now is import duty and the charges that couriers charge for sort of administration in dealing with the import. Now, government guidelines on how all this works is 1,400 pages long, and it's an absolute nightmare trying to wade through it. So for the purposes of this video, just as a general advice guide, I've simplified it to the nth degree. And the main information that I've actually managed to glean, I've got by talking to various companies here in the UK and finding out what problems they're encountering, and probably the best way to go about purchasing if you still want to purchase from the EU if you live in the UK, and from the UK if you live in the EU. Import duty rates vary depending on the type of product that you're purchasing. Now, the 2 main product categories that we're likely to encounter as motorcyclists will be motorcycle parts, which includes custom parts, tyres and service consumables, and clothing. Now, clothing attracts an import duty here in the UK of 12%, whereas motor parts attract an import duty of only 5%. And these additional import duties may or may not apply in EU countries. So if you live in the EU, before making any purchases from the UK, what you need to do is go on your own government websites and find out what the score is for you. I suspect, in actual fact, in a lot of cases, you don't pay much import duty. I've had quite a few comments from people living in Italy and France saying that, you know, in essence, by the time they'd received their order from the UK, it was pretty much the same as what they'd pay normally. It does appear on the face of it that it's the UK consumer that's finding these items are working out more expensive. Now, I spoke to 4 different companies altogether, and among those were, of course, Motorn Customs and Hitchcock's Motorcycles. And a common statement that I've heard in most cases seems to be that it's actually easier and cheaper to send products to Japan and America than it is to send them to a destination 50 or 60 miles away in France, which is ridiculous. I've heard of stuff getting to America or Japan which is thousands of miles away within 2 to 3 days, yet 50 or 60 miles away in France it's taking up to a week and a half, sometimes 2 weeks. And of course the great thing is that if you live in America and you order something from the EU or from Britain, you don't pay any duty whatsoever. It just comes straight to your doorstep. Now, generally what happens when you order something from the EU to be sent to the UK, or if you order something from the UK to be sent to the EU, the courier will pick up the tab for all the duties when he collects it from the customs depot. That courier will then send you a letter or an email to inform you that there is duty to pay on your goods and an administration fee of round about £12 that courier service charges for carrying out this facility, and that must be paid before they can deliver the item for you. Now, as I've found out, occasionally they'll turn up on your doorstep with your parcel and tell you that you need to pay them, you know, X amount of pounds before they can hand it over to you. Now, if you refuse to pay this amount, A, you won't get your parcel, it will just go back to the originator, to the retail company that you bought it from, but you will lose out because they won't refund you your postage. That service has been carried out, you've just refused it, that money is lost. You may also find in a lot of cases that administration fee from the courier still stands. It's a legally binding debt because they have paid that duty out for you, and then they have to go through the process of claiming that duty payment back because you refused it. It's not always the case, but it is worth considering that might happen. And make no mistake, that is a legally binding debt, and they will pursue you through the courts if you refuse to pay it. And they have up to 6 years to send you a summons. Or they might just sell it on to a debt collection company that will make your life a misery for years to come. Now, if you don't want all this hassle, in a way, I don't blame you. Just buy the goods that you want from your own country at a price that is acceptable to you. Now, on a side note, I was talking to Motorn Customs about this on Monday, and they do have an agent in France, British Legends, that actually stocks Motorn Customs products. So at least for Motorn gear, you guys in the EU can simplify things by buying from British Legends, and I'll leave a link for British Legends in the video description down below. They stock most Motorn Customs products, but not all, so it might require an email to them asking them to get certain items in for you if they don't have them on stock. Now, I spoke to a few companies, not just Motorn, I spoke to Hitchcock's and 1 or 2 others, and I've sort of scraped together some information that under the current situation might assist you if you're wanting to make a purchase either from the UK to Europe or from Europe to the UK. Now, in a lot of situations, European retailers were given no assistance from the governments whatsoever. They were left completely in the dark on how to trade with the UK after Brexit. So we are still going through a sort of a transition period where these retailers are trying to find their feet, and they're also having to upgrade their websites to facilitate the removal of their local purchase taxes to, UK citizens. I mean, the last thing you want to be doing is paying, a European purchase tax and then having to pay VAT when it comes into this country. And this whole thing is something that needs sorting out because both Europe and the UK is losing out. And I think the cold hard truth is the longer this goes on without it being sorted out, the more damage is going to be done to the European economy rather than the UK economy. I mean, we're free to trade with anyone now under our own terms, whereas most European retailers are constricted by EU regulations. So I can see purchases from the EU by British consumers ultimately trailing off and not coming back, whereas UK retailers have the option to tailor their services towards other countries in the world. Now, it seems where a lot of people have been encountering problems is that they've been making small orders as they have done in the past. Now, I think the current agreement is that if the item that you've purchased has a value of less than £9, and I'm not sure whether that includes package and postage as well, it should just go straight through customs without any customs payments being required. But where people seem to be blowing the brains out is where they're just making a small purchase like a spark plug that's £10 or £11, and they're getting a VAT bill and administration charge of around £20, which is just ridiculous. So you need to think a little bit more carefully about your purchase habits. Save the items that you need up from a certain company or retailer and put as large an order in as you can afford. I've been told that the sweet spot is round about the £150 mark. If you put an order in for £150, those additional charges that you have to pay only equate to about a 10% increase in the price that you pay when it lands on your doorstep. Obviously, if you spend even more than that, it reduces it further, so put larger orders in rather than small orders. The other thing is, make sure you know approximately what you're going to be paying in total before you make the order. If you're not sure that the retailer that you're buying from has sort of excluded their VAT rates, send them an email and ask them. Some companies may not have had the required time to rehash the websites in order to allow this facility. And as I've said, the last thing you want to be doing is paying the equivalent of the VAT twice. So check with the company. If they want your business, they will accommodate you. They can send you a PayPal invoice for the reduced amount or whatever. And then based on the price that they quote you, make some calculations so you know approximately what customs charges you're going to get when it lands in the country. You can then work out from there whether it is worth buying it from that source or not. I think what a lot of people are doing is they're just burying the head in the sand. They're taking the retail price as being it and just hoping that they get lucky and they won't get charged when it arrives here or in the destination country, and then just spitting the dummies out when it doesn't work out the way they hoped it would. That's not the way to do business. Find out what the total cost is going to be. You should be able to work it out to within a couple of pounds at least. And the formula that you should be working on is basically the retail cost to you, plus the import duty, plus VAT, and then on top of that the administration charge from the courier that it's sent by. And I can't emphasise enough, it's down to communication with the retailer. If you contact them and find out what the score is before ordering, it's going to save everybody an awful lot of bother. It is important that we keep our economies running both at home and abroad. This pandemic has put the cost of production of a lot of products up substantially. Raw material costs have gone up, transport costs have gone up, manufacturing costs have gone up, and for the most part manufacturers and retailers are artificially keeping prices as low as they can. They're not going to be able to do that forever, and if people stop buying, huge price increases are going to come sooner rather than later. It's inevitable. On a final note, something that might help some people, I know not everybody likes Amazon, but Amazon have set up a sort of a VAT sharing scheme. Check the small print on the individual listings, but by and large, if you buy through Amazon and it's coming from the EU and you're in the UK, or the other way around, Amazon do take care of the VAT and there are no administration charges to worry about. eBay doesn't have any such facility in place, so you know you're going to be pretty much in the same situation as if you bought it directly from the retailer. It's just something to bear in mind if the item that you're looking for is available on Amazon. Right, this is a really difficult and complicated subject. I really do hope that this video has made sense to you and helps you out a little bit. Motone asked me to mention to you that they are still holding open that 12% discount scheme for viewers of this channel, and I will leave the discount code in the video description down below. It's worth bearing in mind because that is basically for EU customers going to cover the cost of any charges that you might get when you purchase from them. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video and my other videos. I really do appreciate it. You know the score. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, or if you didn't enjoy it, leave a dislike, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell and ensure that all your notifications are enabled on your account, otherwise you won't be informed when I upload a new video. I will of course be back on Friday, so until then, if you're riding, please ride safely, and I'll see you soon.